Yo, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Mostly Low Budget Movie Reviews. I am your host, Clarence. Thank you for tuning in. In today's episode, I am back in the movie theaters with a movie that comes highly rated. Now, I didn't personally see the scores before I watched this. I'll give you those at my usual time. But I was told that the critics really enjoyed this one. It's called Bodies, 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 with a young cast of actors I've seen before, but I don't really recall any of the names off top, with the exception of Pete Davidson. And you guys know I do absolutely no research, so I won't be trying to figure out the names here. Now, it's listed as a lot of stuff: horror, comedy, drama, mystery, thriller. Now, is it really all that stuff? More on that later. But first off, what is this one about? And this isn't going to take very long, and you'll see why. Now, we start out with this lesbian couple, and I only point that out because it does play a role in how this all plays out. Now, they're going to their friend's house for this storm party. Apparently, there's this hurricane that's approaching. Now, all of them are these, like, super rich, spoiled kids. And anyway, we get to see what kind of personalities they have and who we're dealing with. So we get to see them interacting. And we get this undercurrent that they might not be the best of friends that they are, like acting like they are on the surface. Now, as the storm hits, they decide to play this game called Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Now, it's basically hide and seek with the element of tag thrown in. They pick one person to be the killer. Now, if they touch you, then you're dead, and you have to, like, drop right there. And then whoever finds you has to scream bodies, bodies, bodies. And then they give you, then they start the investigation to try to figure out who the killer is. Now, they play one round, and it goes as planned with a few arguments here and there. Then the second round starts, and they find one of their friends really is dying. And that's where I'll stop. Because from there, they have to actually really play the game for real and figure out who killed him. So what did the pros think? Well, they came in at a staggering 90% on the Rotten scale. They weren't joking. This is highly rated. With the audience at a very respectable 77%. And what did I think? Well, let me start with positives. Now, I'm not going to pretend, again, like I know. I've seen some of these actors before. I'm not going to pretend like I actually know them very well, but they were perfectly cast here. This is probably one of the most unlikable groups of young adults and characters all together at the same time. And normally when that happens, you kind of tune out and you don't care about what happens to them. But the way they performed it and the dynamic, they managed to be all really unlikable, and of course they're all damaged in some way, which we find out through the story, and they still managed to make me care about what was happening to them, that's not easy to do. The suspense they build around things with all the finger pointing and kind of hints and clues that they drop as to why one person might have motive over another person, all that's very well done. So we get fingers pointed this way, that way. So that's all very well done. And we go through the whole story on edge because we're really trying to figure out, if they just pointed at that person, if that person really did it, or if that person's pointing at that person because they did it. And if you can get that back and forth going, that's a very successful whodunit situation. Now, that's actually kind of where I want to start my negatives, though. Much was made about some sort of twist. I heard this movie had this major twist, and it works, and it was great. But for the most part, this movie plays out exactly the way I thought it would. Now, I'm not going to lie. I didn't guess the killer, but at the same time, that's not really my fault when you watch the movie and the way the story plays out. Yeah, I'll stop there because I'm spoiler free. I don't want to mess it up for you. But let's just say I wasn't wrong not guessing the killer. Let me put it that way. And the whole twist with the killer, to me, it was very underwhelming. It really wasn't some aha moment. And it's been done before. It wasn't super original. So really the strongest point about the story in the movie was watching how these fake relationships degraded under the pressure and just broke down so easily. And these are supposed to be friends for years, and we see how tenuous and how very delicate the house of cards that their friendships really relied on. And they argue and they reveal how they really feel about each other and all these things from their past. And you're like, whoa. So that part was really powerful and strong. And again, up until that point of the ending, it was very smartly written, I thought. And then the end came, and I felt like it was just a wasted opportunity for me. But I don't want to beat this one up too much. Let me bottom line this one for you. Did I enjoy it? And yeah, I'm going to say yes, I did enjoy it. Now, I'm more in line with the audience, and I give this one a 75%, just to stay consistent on the Rotten scale. All the elements for a Scream type whodunit are here, and it all works pretty well. The dark comedy elements, the relationship between the friends, the mixed direction about who did what. However, it's all very straightforward with a pretty standard ending for me anyway. Maybe that's because I'm a veteran of these type of movies and watching these kind of things. Maybe other people will be super shocked and surprised. I have a feeling the audience was more with where I come from, since they only came in at a 77%. And I don't know who these professional writers are, because they watch all the movies, and somehow they were super impressed with this one. And I'm still sitting here trying to figure out how they warrant this to collectively score this at a 90%. I have no idea. Now, I was hoping that the twist would have been something way more out there, but for what it was, the ending just kind of let me shrug my shoulders like, okay, I guess. Now, it's worth a watch, and it's only worth a watch in theaters if you are a major fan of this genre and you don't want the twist, and I'm putting this in quotations, ruined for you. But otherwise, you can wait and just stream this one, but it's still definitely worth a watch. And with that being said, I will close it out right here. If this is your first time, don't make it your last. This has been a Podbean production, mostly low-budget movie reviews with Clarence. Thank you for the support. I appreciate you. Appreciate all my new subscribers. Everybody's listening to the content. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking a few minutes to listen to me, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.